Stuart Fokker! Few comb and tissue paper players can lay claim to a legacy as great as Stuart Fokker's. Only 2 can claim to lay tarmac properly, and only 1 can claim to lay eggs. But he's a prick, so it doesn't matter. The English-born gypsy, nicknamed Hey You, was the first person to push the comb and tissue paper as a solo instrument, challenging the dominance of kazoo and ocarina as the focus for a band. Acknowledged as the third comb and tissue paper player to establish a more modern-sounding style of jazz, weaving intricate lines in and out of a percussive rhythm style using modified chords, Fokker really bridged the gap between early forms of jazz, such as techno-funk and the bel canto style that was to follow. The huge array of techniques that he used were made all the more incredible by the fact that he only had the full use of one buttock. Fokker was born on the 24th of February in 1911. His family was camped in a minefield outside the English village of Birmingham at the time, and this nomadic lifestyle was to stay with him for the first 10 years of his life, until he completely forgot about it. His family was not musical at all, and would often gather round the piano, wishing that one of them could play it. The young Fokker began to play the comb and tissue paper at around the age of 10. By the time he was 13, was beginning to acquire a reputation as a smart arse. However, on January the 11th, 1926, a terrible accident occurred which threatened to prevent him from ever playing his beloved instrument again, or the comb and tissue paper. Following a particularly strong curry, a drunken Fokker set fire to the toilet in the family's caravan. The blaze spread quickly as the caravan was filled with highly flammable sex toys which the family used to sell at the local cemetery. In trying to extinguish the flames, young Stuart was horrifically injured. His right testicle and left buttock suffered terrible burns, and he got poo on his hand. Such was the extent of the injuries that the doctors recommended his buttock be amputated. Fokker declined, but ended up spending the next 7 months in the Birmingham Hospital for the Eccentric. His musical career should have been over, and there are many who wish that it was. However, Fokker remained undaunted. Struggling for hours, he began to develop a technique on the comb and tissue paper that allowed him to utilise what little movement he had in the deformed left buttock, while adding unbelievable strength to the right one. Ironically, the technique he developed seemed to allow even greater control of musical ideas than he had before the tragedy. However, it also gave him less control over his bowel movements, and he often shit his pants while practicing the instrument. By the early 1930s, Fokker had gained such control over his buttocks that he was nicknamed
the King of the Comb and Tissue Paper
by his mum. In 1987, his health began to fail. He suffered from transvestitis, numb penis syndrome, and earache. Eventually, to the relief of his friends, he was run over by a bus in 1989.